Now we join our very merry David Jessel for the VIP show.
Goodbye from the VIP show, but not before we bring you our end-of-term party. And a smile, a tear, a song, even something to eat and drink. And what a star lineup in the next 45 minutes. Alan King, Wayne Sleep, Bonnie Langford, Lady Rothermere and Gordon Honeycombe make up your five-person choice. I'm bagging my seat on the sofa now. Oh, yes it is. No, it isn't. Oh, yes it is. It's that time of year again when grown men and women don tights and answer to the name of Twanky, Buttons or Tom Thumb. The Christmas Panto is a particularly British institution. In recent years, though, it's been overrun by stars from other than the stage. With me today are the Emperor of China, Gordon Honeycombe, the Genie of the Lamp, Wayne Sleep, Buttons, also known as Peter Duncan, and Bonnie Langford, as Cinderella. Welcome all to the VIP show.
Thank you.
That wasn't loud enough. Welcome to the VIP show. Thank you, David.
Thank you,
David.
We'll have enough of that later.
Yes.
So you're sort of slightly in cosy, are you, with the boots then? I mean...
No, because the character I play, which is Cinderella, just drops her slipper all over the place, so I'd have a job to get rid of these ones.
Is it as much fun to do as to go to?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think so.
I mean, it's not, you don't think, oh gosh, Panto time.
Well, no, I mean, for me it's a big release because normally most of the year I'm treading a tightrope of balancing and, you know, all that in my classical dancing, etc. And this is one time of year you can fall over and get a laugh out of it and just enjoy it. And also you can talk to the audience, you can ad lib, you don't have to stick to the script. Well, you're meant to, but we don't. I mean, we're very naughty.
It can be a bit of a graft, though, can't it? I mean, on the third Saturday in January and the third show, and you don't know if you started it or finished it. I mean, it's, it's still fun, but it's hard work.
I did 14 weeks at the Palladium for my first pantomime, 2 shows a day. And in about the 9th or 10th week, I didn't know whether I was coming or going. And
Like you're saying Happy Easter in the end.
Well, we went right through to Easter, actually. I think we got Easter eggs one day from Daniel LaRue as a present.
You're not a pantomime person, you're a newscaster,
no.
you're a novelist.
Yes, that's quite right, David. Yes.
What are you doing thesping around like this?
I'm doing it for the fun, really, and because I was asked. I did a pantomime last year, Aladdin, with Cilla Black in Wimbledon.
Yes.
And same management, Paul Elliott, asked me to do another Aladdin in Bournemouth with Sue Pollard this time. So, again, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. And since leaving TVAM, I've been concentrating on the writing and performing and doing the things I most enjoyed doing, other than television.
So, I mean, it's a treat, not a come-down, as it were.
Oh, no, I don't think so at all. I think, actually, I mean, reading the news is not as difficult as it may seem. Appearing in pantomime is much more demanding in its way. And much more tiring, after all, as
yes.
the experts know.
You've got to keep the audience going as well.
But it's also much more rewarding, because you have the instant appreciation of the audience and full houses and all the laughter and applause, which you don't have in a television studio. And that I find very good. And also, from my point of view, being on the same stage as stars like Cilla Black and Sue Pollard is a very exciting, entertaining, educating experience.
Why is it so particularly difficult, though? I mean, or is it just kids? It's kids. It doesn't matter what you put in front of kids, as long as they've got a...
They're the worst audience. No, they're so critical.
No, if you give them a packet of Smarties, they're happy.
No way.
It's because it's a populist medium. It tends to get a bit abused by, I suppose,
And children get bored so quickly as well.
Yeah.
They're not willing to accept anything unless it's good. And today it's even harder doing pantomime because you've got all the videos, the pop videos and everything on TV to compete with all the time. And their interest goes so quickly these days.
It is very disconcerting if you're a serious person like me, the Emperor of China and so on. I'm the plot and the serious. And they talk throughout, when the matinees, when someone like me comes on, they want the pretty ladies and the songs and the magic and the mystery. But when there's plot, they behave like they're in their sitting rooms, do they not? They're all talking amongst themselves all the time and sort of eating and chewing and sort of...
But I think pantomime is so important because it might be the first time that children are actually going to the theatre.
Yeah.
And it is something that, because of television and videos, they can go and put a video on whenever they like. They can get up, they can go to the loo, they can go and do anything, and it still goes on. And going to a pantomime and going to theatre teaches them how to behave when they go to a theatre.
Yeah, the
as
trouble is,
well.
I mean, I remember going to a pantomime, and I was one of the ones chosen to come up on the stage.
Yeah.
I forget what I had to do.
Did you wet your pants?
I was so humiliated. I didn't wet my pants, but I was just so frightened. They put me off the theatre for months and years and whatever after that.
Well, some of them love it, you see. You get them up there and
Yes.
they won't go.
The opposite reaction, you can't get them off.
Yeah.
And they're better than the comics.
Have you ever had any disastrous experiences with children?
Only with them, you know, when they start to cry, you immediately pick them up and take them back to mother. Because if one of them starts crying, if you leave them there, the whole line catches this. And then eventually you've got them all crying, and that can be disastrous. So you've got to get rid of them straight away in the nicest way. And not humiliate them either. Not use them. I've seen comics go on and interview the children and use them as gags, to get gags out of. And the children get very upset. I think you have to be very careful how you humour with them.
They seem to know very much what's expected of them in terms of a pantomime. It surprises me, because the tradition, I mean, I was brought up in pantomime, but it's not such a tradition now for children to go, is it? But they know what to say, they know how to react, and they call out.
Yes.
And they're much more involved than we used to be, than I used to be when I was a child.
Yes, what about this British, this British thing about all dressing up as different sexes? I mean, where did that come in, the whole business?
Well, the pantomime, the British pantomime that we sort of know today, really began as parodies of the proper shows that used to be on in Drury Lane, and they used to be sort of little mimes that used to precede the proper show. And actually the audience started to enjoy them much more, so they became the actual shows. They used to put them on, and that's how our particular brand of pantomime began. But they also drew from the Italian and the French theatre as well.
Commedia
The
dell'arte.
Italians gave it up pretty quickly, didn't they?
So-
Oh, you don't
and
mind
also
Italians dressing up as women?
It's the myth that is popular. I mean, all the pantos are based on great myths and fairy tales, and that's something else that perhaps even subconsciously we're attracted to, and why it is still the most popular form of theatre in this country. I mean, that's what everyone goes and sees at Christmas.
Yeah, and if you say pantomime to anybody in Europe or America, they immediately think of commedia dell'arte and pure mime, no talking or singing or sending up of anything. They think it's a mime, and you have to really explain to them, and they look at you gaga as if you're talking nonsense, that the lead man is a girl and the mother is a man.
Well, when it comes to explaining it, it does sound bizarre, doesn't it?
You've been a dame yourself, haven't you?
Yes, I did it last year and the
You're
year
not really
before.
built for damehood, really.
No, well, I pad myself out a
Yes.
bit and things, but you're supposed to be able to start playing a dame at 40, so when I was 40, I'll admit it, I started playing it, but my problem is that because I'm Wayne Sleep the dancer, you know, they're booking to see you do your dancing as well as being a character. You know, you're there because of a certain thing you can bring to the pantomime. And when I was being dame, I think they were slightly disappointed I didn't dance so much, so I've gone back to dancing now. So at Guildford this year I'll be dancing.
Yeah.
Civic Hall, not the Yvonne Arno.
No, right. Never thought it was the Yvonne. Bonnie, you're still sort of in the right sex role, aren't you? I mean,
Yes,
do you
I'm
aspire to
playing
be
a
a
girl.
thigh slapper and you know principal boy? And all
Wouldn't mind. Oh,
We used to work together, didn't we?
yes.
Don't wish to know anything about this. Yeah.
Yes, now I'm playing Cinderella this year at Wimbledon, at the Wimbledon Theatre. I suppose,
Who's
well, as I
Dandini?
say,
Who's
it's not-
Dandini? You don't know. Anyway,
no, but
do
Jan Hunter's as Prince Charming, and
Yeah.
yes, we have got ladies. Last year I did Cinderella, and we had gentlemen as Prince Charming and Dandini.
Gentlemen playing
Men.
men.
Men playing men, which was quite unusual.
very confusing.
That's unusual. But this year it's a traditional, and we've got the ladies playing the chaps. But I did do Peter Pan at one point, although I didn't do it as a pantomime, and that I found quite confusing in the fact I adored playing it, but people would automatically think it was a pantomime when in fact it was a full, you know, it was a proper musical. We didn't do any of the, oh, yes it is, oh, no, it
That's
isn't.
right.
We stuck to it true.
Yes, I did the story of Pinocchio one year, and they got very confused. They thought they were seeing a pantomime. Mind you, it turned into one because we always used to forget our lines.
Oh.
Sort of
I mean, it's a cross between the traditional, the fairy tales, but there's quite a lot of topical stuff comes in, doesn't it? I mean, I guess this Christmas there'll be lots of stuff about Michael Heseltine and Margaret Thatcher. and all that sort of
Yes, but Paul Elliott, who is the management that's producing Bonnie's and my
Yes, that's
pantos.
right, yes, same
Last year, I put in a few political ad-lib Aladdin in Wimbledon, and I was discouraged from doing so because Paul didn't like political comments or jokes.
Yeah.
So I presume they won't happen again this time in Aladdin in Bournemouth with Sue Pollard. But one still puts in a lot local allusions and remarks of that sort.
Such
That's what
as
we did.
local illusions.
Well, to do with shops, local shops,
Yeah.
streets,
Lost in
Wimbledon.
one-way systems.
Yes, yes, the nearest
traffic
village to
things.
where you are, you know, getting caught.
Or other suburbs. We talk about sort of Mitcham as opposed to Wimbledon, or that kind of thing.
Yes,
Or Tooting as opposed to... Yes.
Yeah. You're obviously all very keen on this. You're very excited about this. It's not a chore.
No, not at all. And I mean, it's almost like doing a musical without the worry of it, whether it's going to last in the West End or not, you know. It's like a musical because you get singing, dancing and acting, and it's an extravaganza with a big cast, and it's audience participation. And if you were doing something like that as a West End musical, they'd be so worried that it wasn't going to run or that you were going to be given notice after 2 weeks. Don't have any of those pressures.
In fact, you only get 2 weeks rehearsal, don't you, at the most?
Well, we
10
have
days.
10 days.
We've got a week.
10 days.
You've probably got it right by January then.
Yeah, that's it,
That's
yes.
what I shall come and see you all. Thank you all very, very much indeed.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I won't.
Oh, yes, you will.
Go on.
Stay tuned for the King of Comedy on the VIP show after the break.